Faces of Abortion is the only television program of its kind that shows the powerful, real-life stories of women, men, and families who have suffered the devastation of abortion. Faces of Abortion touches hearts and changes lives in over 125 nations. Faces of Abortion is a program that will help you with healing from the heart and hope for the future. You will be given practical steps for healing in your life and help to end the suffering of abortion.
So it just overwhelmed me. And I thought the only way to escape the pain was to take my life.
I had a fear that I wouldn't be able to have my own children.
It brings heartache. It brings hurt.
And I knew they were tearing my baby apart.
I remember the cold feeling of the room.
I remember laying there and I just said to myself that I will never forgive myself for what I'm doing.
I believe that my life was spared that night just so that I could be here right now and say abortion hurts women.
Welcome to Faces of Abortion. I'm your host, Cindy Collins, and again today I'm with Alan Parker, who is president of the Justice Foundation, and Clayton Trotter, who is general counsel of the Justice Foundation. We have a tremendous show today, Alan.
We really do. Our audience is going to get to hear from Linnell from Iowa and Kathy, who's from Kentucky, about something most people never get to hear about, and that's their personal experience of abortion and what it did to them and the people around them as well.
That's right, Alan. These are both powerful stories of women who have been hurt by the trauma of abortion, and we want you to listen to Linnell's story right now in her own words.
Hi, my name is Linnell, and I'm here to tell you my story. I grew up in a small town in Iowa in a Christian home, and in 1981 I moved out to Seattle, and I landed an amazing job in an investment firm. And I met a man, and we were dating, and life really couldn't be any better than this. This was just so wonderful. But then I discovered I was probably pregnant. What in the world was I going to do? My parents would have been devastated if they had known. And the company I was working for, there was no way they would have allowed me to keep this job being an unwed mother, a pregnant woman walking around unwed. No, I would have lost my job. And my boyfriend was in no position to help me out. He was no position to marry me. So I had to take care of the situation. I was in a situation that I needed to take care of. And so by the time the nurse called me back and told me that my pregnancy test was positive, I knew that I would be empowered as a woman if I went ahead and took care of the situation by having an abortion. So before I hung up that phone, I scheduled an appointment with the doctor. And in 1981 in Seattle, you could just go to your doctor, your OBGYN, and have an abortion. And so my boyfriend was more than happy to take me. I went into the doctor's office and I had no clue what was really going to happen. No one spoke anything about it to me. She had me lay down. The physical pain was horrible, but it was nothing compared to what happened the moment my baby was sucked out of my womb. It was horrible. My soul cried out, oh my God, what did I do? I couldn't do anything to reverse this. I couldn't change it. It was over, it was done with, and now what was I going to do? The doctor told me to please be quiet, and I couldn't stop crying. I left and I cried all the way home. I cried all that night and all through the night. I couldn't stop crying. But I had a job to go to. I had an image to be the next day in the office, so I sucked it down and I went to work. And every night I went home and I cried. Oh, I cried. The pain wouldn't go away, so I drank. But when you have pain and you drink, it just makes the pain worse and it doesn't go away. So I drank myself to oblivion. I would black out. I wouldn't even know where I was. It's by the grace of God, even then in my life, that I didn't kill anyone else and I didn't kill myself from all that drinking. But the pain didn't really go away. I just had to shove it down because I had to keep on going and I had a job to do and I had my boyfriend, and so I shoved that pain down as deep as it could go. And 5 years later, my boyfriend and I married. A year and a half later, we had our son Benjamin, and we were later divorced. I kept all this pain down, and I realized I'm not making great decisions in my life. I'm now divorced. And so I gave my life back to the Lord. I moved back to Iowa, where I had come from, and I met a wonderful man. And we married, and we had a son, and we were going to have another child, but I lost that child to miscarriage. And I just kept on wondering, why did I lose my baby? And this voice came back into my heart and said, because you killed your child so long ago, this child was taken from you. And because I agreed so long ago to what had happened, I was so easily listened to that voice. I listened to it, and that pain, something that had been buried for 18 years in my heart that I had never thought about, came just boiling up to the surface, and I cried and cried. My friends, who were wonderful Christians, knew I wasn't handling my miscarriage well, but I would never have told a soul what I had ever done 18 years before. So I just dealt with the pain, and I stuck it back down again. And a year and a half later, I became pregnant, and I lost the twins to miscarriage. And I cried out, oh, Lord, I can't go down that dark pit again. I can't go there. Help me. You need to help me with this. And so he is so good. He told me that he was there every moment that I walked through that abortion. He was there with me, and he loved me. And for the first time, even though he had forgiven me, I forgave myself. And that was the beginning of my journey of healing. And it took me another 5 years. In 2005, a friend of mine realized that I still had a deep root of shame in my heart. It was buried very deep. Still nobody knew that I had had an abortion. It was just between God and I. But she said, you have shame rooted deep in your heart. And so she helped me uproot that shame. I came and I told my husband. He loved me through it. He loved me. And it was because of the love of the Lord that I brought that back up out, and I talked to him about it. And I received the love and the healing power of the Lord Jesus Christ to be here today, to be able to tell my story. Abortion does not empower a woman. It left me broken hearted and full of shame, but it is the power and the love and the truth of Jesus Christ that I can stand here today and say that abortion only destroys women, but the power of the Lord Jesus Christ heals our brokenness.
You just heard Lynelle's story in her own words, a woman who has suffered much from the pain of abortion. She stuffed that pain down. She tried using alcohol and other forms of pain medication to suppress that pain for many, many years. But in her own words, you've heard how that pain came up even after 18 years. If that is you, one that is being even triggered by the pain of abortion as you're watching this show right now, we want you to call our helpline. It's a 24-hour helpline answered 7 days a week. There's a woman on the other end of that line that wants to pray with you, refer you to help through a Bible study, an abortion recovery group, someplace that you can go to no longer have to stuff that pain that you may have been holding